Before we dive into this incredible story, make sure you're part of our journey. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and get ready for a story that will leave you thinking. And if you love inspiring tales, a like goes a long way. You're going to jail for this. The words crashed through the empty supermarket like thunder, freezing everyone in place. The small boy's fingers trembled around the package of diapers, eyes wide with a terror no child should know. This wasn't shoplifting. This was desperation. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, casting harsh shadows across the nearly deserted aisles. Late evening shopping carts sat abandoned, their wheels silent witnesses to the drama unfolding at Register 3. The security guard's hand clamped around the boy's thin wrist, his badge gleaming under the artificial light as the few remaining customers pretended not to notice. What they didn't see was the tall figure in the black jacket quietly setting down his shopping basket. The man with the kind eyes and familiar face who'd been observing from the frozen food section, his expression changing from casual shopper to something entirely different. Nobody expected Keanu Reeves to be grocery shopping tonight, and nobody expected what was about to happen next. If this moment made you feel something, imagine what's coming next. Hit that like button and stay with us. Subscribe now. The boy couldn't have been more than 10 years old, his oversized jacket hanging from bony shoulders like a flag of surrender. His sneakers, worn thin at the edges, squeaked against the linoleum as he tried to pull away. The package of cheap diapers, the smallest, most affordable pack on the shelf, clutched against his chest like a shield. Not candy, not toys, not headphones or video games. Diapers. "Please," the boy whispered, voice cracking. "My sister, she's just a baby." But his plea disappeared beneath the security guard's continuing tirade, the man's face reddening with each accusation. The few remaining shoppers kept their eyes averted, their discomfort palpable in the sterile air. The cashier's fingers hovered uncertainly over her phone, torn between protocol and the gnawing feeling that something wasn't right about this situation. "Rules are rules, kid," the guard continued, shoulders squared beneath his uniform, voice echoing through the empty store. "You think you're the first thief to make up a sob story?" His grip tightened, causing the boy to wince. "I'm calling the police right now. Maybe a night in juvenile detention will teach you about respect for property." The boy's eyes welled with tears, but they didn't fall. There was something in his gaze beyond fear, a resigned understanding that the world wasn't fair, that systems weren't built to understand desperation. His thin fingers still clutched the diapers, knuckles white with determination. The store's overhead announcement about closing in 15 minutes seemed to mock the intensity of the moment, its cheerful tone a stark contrast to the drama unfolding by the registers. The man in the black jacket approached with quiet confidence, his movements deliberate yet unhurried. Even with the baseball cap pulled low and the casual clothing, there was something about him, a presence that commanded attention without demanding it. A face thousands would recognize instantly, though out of place in this fluorescent-lit stage of everyday struggle. "Excuse me," he said, his voice gentle but carrying an unmistakable weight. The guard turned, irritation flashing across his face at the interruption, until recognition dawned in his eyes. The boy looked up too, confusion momentarily replacing his fear. The cashier's hand fell away from her phone, mouth slightly open in surprise. The atmosphere shifted, as if the air itself recognized that someone had just changed the entire script. Keanu Reeves stood before them, not as an action hero or beloved character, but as a man who had seen enough to know when to step in. Things are about to take a turn. Don't miss what happens next. Subscribe, like our video, and keep watching. "What seems to be the problem here?" Keanu asked, his eyes moving between the guard and the boy. The security guard straightened his posture, professional demeanor suddenly amplified by celebrity presence. "Just doing my job, sir. Caught this kid stealing." The guard's voice had changed, adopting a tone of righteous authority. "Store policy is zero tolerance. I'm calling the police." Keanu nodded slowly, absorbing the situation. He turned to the boy, crouching slightly to meet his eyes. "What's your name?" "Tyler," the boy whispered, voice barely audible under the humming lights. "Tyler," Keanu repeated as if testing the weight of the name. "Can you tell me about these?" He gestured to the diapers still clutched in the boy's trembling hands. The boy swallowed hard. "For my sister. She's one. We ran out yesterday." His voice grew even quieter. "Mom's been sick. She couldn't go to the store, and we don't have enough money till Friday when she gets paid." The security guard scoffed, though with less conviction than before. "Everyone's got a story. Doesn't change the fact that stealing is stealing." "I understand the importance of rules," Keanu said, rising to his full height but keeping his voice measured. "But I also understand that sometimes the story matters." He turned back to Tyler. "Where do you live, buddy?" "Oak Ridge Apartments," Tyler answered, a slight tremble in his voice. "Building C. It's just me, my sister, and my mom. Dad left last year." A woman who'd been pretending to examine greeting cards nearby spoke up. "Those apartments were on the news last month. The heating's been out in half the units since November." Her eyes met Keanu's, then darted away, uncomfortable with her own involvement. The cashier, emboldened by the actor's intervention, finally found her voice. "Sir, I can just void this out. It's not worth—" "It's about principle," the guard interrupted. "Start making exceptions, and where does it end? I have protocols to follow." Keanu nodded, acknowledging the guard's position without agreeing with it. "May I?" he asked, gesturing toward Tyler's thin wrist still locked in the guard's grip. After a moment's hesitation, the guard released the boy. Tyler didn't run. He just stood there, still clutching the diapers, still caught between desperation and dignity. "Sometimes," Keanu said, his voice taking on a quality that made everyone lean in slightly, "our systems aren't designed to see people, they're designed to see rules. And sometimes that means we miss what's really happening right in front of us." A small crowd had formed now, the remaining shoppers abandoning all pretense of not watching. A teenager had her phone out, recording discreetly from behind a display of energy drinks. The manager emerged from a back office, assessing the situation with growing concern about both the disturbance and the celebrity presence. "I don't want trouble," Tyler whispered, tears finally breaking free. "My mom will be so mad at me. She always says we shouldn't take what isn't ours. But my sister was crying, and the rash was getting worse, and I didn't know what else to do. This story is only getting deeper. What would you do in this situation? Comment below, and let's talk." Keanu reached into his pocket and pulled out his wallet. "I'd like to pay for these," he said simply, "and anything else Tyler and his family might need." He turned to the boy. "Would that be okay with you? If we get some groceries for your mom and sister?" The security guard shifted uncomfortably. "That's very generous, Mr. Reeves, but it doesn't change the fact that he was stealing." "What he was doing," Keanu replied, his voice calm but carrying an unmistakable intensity, "was trying to take care of his family the only way he could see how. When all your options are impossible ones, sometimes good people make desperate choices." The manager stepped forward, name tag reading Dennis. "Mr. Reeves, we don't want any trouble. Perhaps we could handle this differently." His eyes darted between the celebrity, the growing crowd of onlookers, and the teenager still recording. I'm not looking to cause trouble either, Keanu said. I'm just suggesting that maybe this situation calls for compassion rather than punishment. The police are already on their way, the guard said, though with less certainty now. I called them before you walked up. Tyler's face went pale. Please, he whispered. My mom can't leave my sister alone to come get me. She's too sick. Keanu placed a gentle hand on Tyler's shoulder. I'll stay with you until this is resolved. I promise. He turned to face the manager directly. Sometimes rules exist to protect people, and sometimes they end up hurting them instead. This isn't about a package of diapers. It's about recognizing when humanity should take precedence over policy. A woman who had been silently watching stepped forward. I'm a social worker, she said. If the concern is for the welfare of this child and his family, I'd be happy to follow up personally. Pressing charges against a minor in these circumstances. She shook her head. It won't help anyone. The manager looked increasingly uncomfortable as more customers gathered. Someone whispered, "That's John Wick, defending a kid." And nervous laughter rippled through the small crowd. Look, the manager said finally, we can make an exception this once. He turned to the security guard. Call off the police, Jim. But protocol, the guard began. I'll take responsibility, the manager interrupted. Some things matter more than protocol. The tension in Tyler's small body began to release, his grip on the diapers loosening slightly. Keanu squeezed his shoulder gently in reassurance. Thank you, Keanu said to the manager. Now, if it's all right, I'd like to help Tyler pick up a few things his family needs before the store closes. The manager nodded, relief evident in his expression, both at avoiding a public relations disaster and at finding a humane solution. Of course, take all the time you need. The guard's radio crackled. Units responding to Westfield Market, what's your situation? All eyes turned to him. After a long moment, he pressed the button. False alarm at Westfield Market. Situation resolved. No assistance needed. Then, more quietly to Tyler, Sorry, kid. Just doing my job. It's not over yet. The best part is coming. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. "15 minutes later, Tyler stood beside a cart filled with groceries, diapers, baby formula, fresh fruits, vegetables, bread, milk, medicine for his mother, and even a small stuffed bear for his sister. His eyes wide with disbelief as Keanu placed a final item in the cart, a prepaid cell phone. So, your mom can call for help if she needs it, Keanu explained quietly, slipping a card with his publicist's number into Tyler's pocket. If things get really bad, have her call this number. Someone will answer. The cashier rang everything up with a smile, bagging items carefully, adding extra bags to make them easier for the boy to carry. When the total appeared on the screen, Keanu handed over his credit card without hesitation. The crowd had dispersed mostly, though a few lingered, witnesses to a moment that transcended celebrity sightings. I don't know how to thank you, Tyler said, his voice steadier now. My mom always says to look for the helpers when things get bad. I guess she's right. Your mom sounds wise, Keanu replied with a gentle smile. And you know what? You're a helper too. Taking care of your family the way you have, that takes real courage. The security guard approached, awkwardness in every step. I've called a cab for him, he said. Least I could do. It'll take him right to his door. He didn't quite meet Keanu's eyes, but there was genuine regret in his voice. Sometimes I forget to see the whole picture, just the rule being broken. We all do sometimes, Keanu said simply, without judgment. The manager hovered nearby, having comped a gift card which he nervously handed to Tyler. As the taxi pulled up outside, Keanu helped load the groceries into the trunk. "Remember," he said quietly to Tyler, "sometimes the strongest thing you can do is ask for help." He handed the boy one last bag, containing his own forgotten groceries. "I think I was meant to be here tonight. Sometimes the universe works that way." Tyler nodded, something new in his eyes, not just relief, but a spark of something that looked remarkably like hope. "Thank you for seeing me," he said, words far wiser than his years should have allowed. The store doors closed behind them, the fluorescent lights dimming as closing time arrived. The world outside remained unchanged, still full of systems that didn't always bend for human need, still complicated and often unforgiving. But for one boy and his family, the harsh edges had softened, if only for a night. As the taxi pulled away, Keanu raised his hand in a small wave, his quiet kindness having accomplished what all the rules and protocols could not. Justice tempered with mercy, humanity recognized in the spaces between right and wrong. Wow, what a story! If this moved you, imagine what else we have for you. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and let us know what you think.